welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and one of my semi-regular gaming, modelling and painting update videos for your delectation. So it's the beginning of April and it's been a funny old few weeks. Well, not funny old, it's been a good few weeks. I was away on holiday in the Azores for a week, which was lovely. Thoroughly recommend that if you want somewhere just absolutely stunningly beautiful. Not a huge amount of history, although we did manage to get to one fort, which I've done a short video on, although I couldn't find anything out about it, very oddly. Maybe I'm just lucky or just used to sort of British museums and castles and stuff that have loads of information about them, but this was a 16th century fort built with I guess originally it would have been wood and what have you, but now it's more recently was built with volcanic rock, so incredibly strong, and presumably to guard the harbour in Ponta Delgado in the Azores from Corsairs, because I know the Corsairs were very active for long periods during the Renaissance period, particularly in around the waters around the Azores. But as I say, zero information about it. There was a very interesting museum within there, which again, not a huge amount of information about, but thoroughly enjoyable. I've never seen there were two flamethrower packs just propped up against a wall in different parts of the museum. I've never really seen those little buggers up close and personal. Really not nice. Anyway, good museum. Did a short video, may interest some bodies, but I couldn't do much about it because I couldn't find anything about it other than the fact it's a 16th century fort. So let's crack on with some of the painting projects. Done a fair bit the last couple of weeks, before I went away and after I've been away. So have a look at that. So first up, this is another unit for my War of the Roses 28mm figures. This is Humphrey Neville, one of the Nevilles who was on the Lancastrian side. I painted up a unit of sort of my last but one unit of War of the Roses plastics, mainly Perry from the Perry box sets. There's a couple of other figures in there, I forget where Baron War ones, I think, just to sort of make up the numbers. But literally, and also right in the middle you can see a certain figure by Martin, Seventh Son, Ragged Staff miniature, with his big chopper. So this is just sort of using up the bits and bobs, and I wanted to put in another Bill and Bow unit for Neville, and so that's what I've done. They've come out pretty well, quite happy. Just another unit finished. Another one that's sat on the popsicle stick, sort of primed but not painted for some considerable length of time, so nice to get it done. So there's quite a lot of Second World War vehicles coming down the line. So this is an old model that I was gifted some considerable length of time ago by Simon, who followed the Plastic Crack podcast, and decided he didn't want to do any more bolt action. Sent me masses of figures, some to sell off or some to give away in the CrackCon raffle, and some that he said for various of us to use. So I've painted up a lot of my Americans for the Conflict 47 figures from that donation, should we say. But also in there was this vehicle. So it's a German Transsport, obviously half-tracked, soft vehicle. He'd already sort of primed it, so I basically just... in fact, I think the crew, the guys inside were already painted, but it's just largely painted. So all I've done is just used the prime. I think I re-primed it with a different colour and then just repainted it. And I think it's come out all right. It'll sit in the collection ready for Second World War. Well, not going to be any use for Achtung because you don't have soft vehicles in that. I suppose you could have a part of a mission. Maybe you've got to escort one of these off the table. maybe that's the way to go. Anyway, nice model, and nice to get it done. And then again, another building. So I showed off last time collection of 15mm 3D prints that Martin printed off for me. So this is just another building that I won't use in those sort of strong points. I'll just use it as a normal building, and then that's mainly because it clearly is a sort of shop front from France, Normandy, and I thought, well, I can't really use it as anything else, so useful to have it. Painted up very simply like I did last time, mainly using washes over the undercoat and then just picking out some details here and there, and a bit of a dry brush. Actually, the dry brush on the roof, now it's under the light, looks a little bit heavier than I meant, but never mind. It'll be fine from 6 feet away or 3 foot away on the tabletop. There you go, nice model, finished. So there's one side of my collection that hasn't really got very much further for a while, is the 30-Year War's epic miniatures. So I've got loads of them, and I've done loads, and I think that's the thing. I've sort of reached a point when I've got so many, I've kind of got more than I need for a game or three. But I'm working my way through just every so often, just trying to ration myself and make sure I get them done. So these are some more cavalry, plus a general, although I haven't put his flag on yet because I'm not quite sure who I'm going to make him yet. These are going to be Imperial forces, because I think when I played my last game I had plenty of cuirassiers, but I had very few regular, or not quite enough, sort of heavy cavalry for the Imperials. So 3 more bases done. I've got another 3, I think, sort of partially painted, so they'll probably be the next ones done. So it's nice to keep that project ticking over, and really must get another pike and shot game in, because I do enjoy that system. Really good fun. Anyway, there you go. So I was very fortunate to be sent a very big box of plastic kits from Warlord Games, for Achtung Panther, as well as all the Achtung Panzer, as well as all the rules and tokens and everything else for the game, and I've shown some of those games already. But one of the kits was for this little British Humber armoured car, and so I thought I'd put it together. Now, it reminded me why I don't do many kits, because it's it's just like, what is the point for a counter that you're going to use in the game? I mean, it's come out okay, but don't look too closely, because there's some gaps and things, because it was a bugger to put together. I mean, it's a little model and so many little bits. I mean, even the turret had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. Why just not one cast it, for goodness sake? Anyway, it's done. I quite like how it's come out, actually, when I've painted it up and used some of the mud spraying up the wheels and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, it's come out well, but the pain to get it done. So anyway, that's him finished. So I'd kind of rather forgotten I got this figure, or this model. This is a Churchill AV Fascine. Fascine? Yeah, one of those engineering tanks, one of the funnies from D-Day. It's a Warlord. No, it's not. I think it's a Blitzkrieg again. It's fully resin. I bought it ages ago, and I'm not really sure why. It was an impulse buy. And I saw in Acton you can use these things. The petard mortar is a thing in the game, so I thought, well, it's sitting there. I wasn't going to do anything else with it, so I'll paint it up. Now, the only thing is, I could find no instructions. And when I finally did put it together, I then found a real model, and I should have looked at it, a real picture of this thing. And actually, the way the fascine is held on the back there is wrong. It should be slanted at that sort of degree. But anyway, it's fine. Nice little model, actually, although I did have a bit of, again, because there were no real instructions, I wasn't sure what to do with the barrel, but I'm still not quite sure it's on right. But anyway, it is what it is, and it's painted up pretty nicely. So that'll join the Achtung Panzer forces for the British. Continuing down the theme of Achtung Panzer, This is another one of the Warlord plastic kits that they sent me. This is a Churchill tank for the British forces. Oh my lord, what a bugger this was to put together. I very nearly gave up. You can see this front fender thing is hanging off slightly. I really don't know why it was so difficult. All the bits should have fitted together nicely, but when I put it together and glued it, there was massive gaps at the front, there was massive gaps at the back, and I just like, oh, and that was before I'd even put the turret on. Now luckily the turret was, unlike that armoured car, was only a couple of pieces for the turret for this, so that was easy. And I thought, right, I'll just make it up, and if I can't get it to work, I'll use it as a piece of wreckage and break it and what have you. But actually then I used some green stuff and put it in the front to hide the massive gap at the front and also at the back, and then a bit of judicious use of mud, and it's sort of a usable piece now. It just looks like it's been through the walls, maybe pranged that front mudguard going over a brocage or something, I don't know. Oh my god, but what worries me is there's two more in the box I've had from Warlord, and I just don't know what to do about it. So I don't know, it's me, I don't know, it's just sheer incompetence, but I just don't like model making, is the simple answer. One piece resin, that's the way for me. So then back to Second World War vehicles. This is a Hetzer, German tank destroyer. Nice little model. I've made up one of these before. This again was another one that was donated to me by Warlords for the Achtung Panzer games and reviews. And it's a nice little model. I painted it up. In fact, it will see action, or it has seen action in my second game. You know, I don't have an airbrush, so I have to paint on by hand. But I don't mind, because I always think, well, in real life, the guys would have used a mop or something like that to apply the paint. So if I'm dappling it with a paintbrush, it's a similar effect, really, right? Anyway, that's all that's all I've got. So I'm not going to go and buy an airbrush now. Just not for me. Anyway, came out okay. And then yet another one. This is a Panzer 4G, I think it is. Another Warlord kit, another one of the ones they sent me. Yeah, again, I've just sort of approximated the sort of camo they would have had using the Dunkelgelb as the base colour. And it's a nice little model. Actually, these Panzer 4s go together really well. I've got another couple that they sent me, so I'll be doing them up as different versions. I might even try and do some with a Schutzen next time, although that looks a little bit more complicated, but there you go. Nice little model, another one for the Achtung Panzer. And then this guy obviously is a Sherman, so this is a Warlord plastic kit. Now this one wasn't one of the ones they sent me, but it's one I had in the collection, so I've painted it up because it will be useful for Achtung, but also for Conflict 47. I think it's just a straight M4 Sherman. I forget now. I put some additional stowage on, so I took a leaf out of On Point HQ Steve's ideas, and I bought on eBay some 3D printed resin stowage stuff, and I've been putting it on various tanks just to make it look them a bit more lived in. Particularly American and British tanks tended to have large amounts of kit, if you look at the photographs on the back of their tanks. So that's what I've done with that, and I'm quite pleased with how this model came out. It looks pretty good. So yeah, happy. And another one. This time it's an M10 tank destroyer. This was one was part of the kits that Warlord said. Oh no, again, this one wasn't. This was one I already had. Yeah, just it was kind of fun. A bit more fiddly to put together, particularly the turret for some reason. And having the crew is interesting as well. But again, I put some additional stowage on the back. Yeah, quite happy where it came out. It's still got the little letter A from the game I used it for in Achtung Panzer. So ignore that. That's not part of the tank. There you go. I really like this. It's the Wolverine, isn't it? I really like this tank, or tank destroyer. Great fun. And then I've had this set for ages. This is one of it's a female anti-tank rifle and support for a bolt action or something similar, early war Russian. It's from Bad Squiddo Games. It's two female combatants, and I've had it again primed up, ready to go for ages. For some reason, just haven't got around to painting it, so I did it. So I've mentioned this before in one of the other videos. I'm actually enjoying just working through some of this stuff that's just been sitting there waiting to go for a long time, to sort of break up the different other projects that I'm working on. So yeah, nice to get this one done. It can finally, they can finally join the rest of my Soviet bolt action Second World War figures. So next up, some terrain. So when I was looking through my stash of opportunity, I refound a box of Warlord plastic tank traps and barbed wire features. So I thought I'd paint them up. So there's the barbed wire. It's a bit messy, but then it's barbed wire, right? Quite pleased how they came out. And then the sort of larger area there, which has sort of the entanglements all set up. So yeah, quite happy how they came out. So that was that. And then a mass of tank traps. All different types. Pyramid-y ones, block ones, slopey ones. So I've just basically painted these up, ready to go. So I decided that I'd base them like this on individual bits of MDF because A, I've got it, and B, I thought I can make up as much as I need. And also, these are almost 3 inches wide, and in Achtung Panzer, if you're going to use tank traps, you need 6 inches. So 2 of these basically is 6 inches, near enough. It's a little bit bigger, but I'm not going to count. So I thought that was the easiest way to do it. Now I have got some resin ones somewhere, but this was in my box, and so I thought I'd paint them up while they're there. And I painted them very simply. They were undercoated with a what is it, wraith bone, or no? It was sort of an off-white colour, a creamy colour. I forget which colour it was. Then I washed it with one of the new AK Interactive. I think it's the grime one. And then I just dry brushed with deck tan and then with sand colour. I think it comes out quite nicely. And the bases are just using some of that Geek Villain basing material, or Geek Gaming basing material with some tufts put in. So simple and easy, and then a good matte varnish over the top to hold it all together. Yeah, and yet again, more armour. So this is, these are Blitzkrieg, next two, this one and the next one, are Blitzkrieg resin models. This is a Comet for the British forces. Now, it's interesting, when I painted this one up, I ran out of my darker green colour that I'd like to use. And so I improvised. I used, I think it's Goblin Green from Army Painter, which is quite a bright, vibrant green. And then I just used multiple washes over the top. And the effect's okay, actually. When I was doing it, I thought, oh my God, I really don't like this. How can I strip it back off again? But actually, the final result, I've come out quite pleased with it. So, again, lots of mud, Vallejo mud on the tracks and on the basing. Some additional stowage added onto the tank, and yeah, quite happy with the effect. Yeah, not much more to say about him. Nice model, quite pleased with him. And then finally, for now, this is another Blitzkrieg miniature. It's a resin Sherman Firefly for the British forces. I like this model very much. It's got, I haven't added, I think I've added 1 or 2 pieces of extra stowage on here. Most of it was already modelled on there, which is brilliant. I think it's just adds that colour and flavour to the tank. So very pleased with him. It came out nicely. Again, not much more to say. A bit like the Comet before, I struggled a bit with the undercoat. I'd run out, so I used that Goblin Green again, and it's a horribly bright colour, but actually with a lot of washes and dry brushing and what have you, I brought it back to a colour that I'm quite happy with. So this looks like a true veteran for the battlefield, ready to see action. So gaming wise has been fairly patchy, if I'm honest, because of holiday. I played a game the Friday before we went away with Tony, Paul and Jonathan. We got the Indian Mutiny figures out. In fact, I got some of my own figures out to play for amongst them, which was great. Me and Tony played the Brits, going up against... It was a scenario from Men Will Be Kings where the one side has to take and burn down a village being held by the other side. Now, I'm going to admit I was a bit... Okay, I threw my toys out a little bit, let's say that. I mean, I just got a bit mopey with the game because it was so stacked against the attacker. Me and Tony with the Brits, we were trying to attack this village. We had zero chance to do it. I mean zero. We didn't dice that badly. They didn't dice spectacularly well in defence, but it was just so one-sided it was untrue. And I don't know whether it's just because Men Will Be King is one of those rule sets that I guess is almost set up to be guys with sticks against guys with guns. When you've got a defender that's got rifles and things that are as good as yours, even though there's only half of them, but they're all in hard cover, and then they've got a whole load of reinforcements coming on, who are the guys with the big sticks and cavalry and what have you. It was just a bloodbath, and we played it once. I got a bit... I know I own my own faults in a game, and I do sometimes, if I can see there is zero chance, I don't find it fun, and I just kind of get a bit switched off and a bit mopey about it, and I did. So apologies to those guys. I did apologise at the time. We tried to reset it and try again, but the game just isn't set up for that kind of scenario, I don't think. Which was a shame, because it looked beautiful, and it was nice to get my Brits out, even if they were completely destroyed. The Shropshire Regiment, I think, after 2 turns was down to 2 figures or something stupid. Anyway, so that was that, really. So other than that, I've only played because we came back and then it was Easter, so the church hall where we meet for the club wasn't open, and then this coming Friday I'm away again. I can't, not foreign parts this time, but I can't make Friday. So no club for me for a couple of weeks, which is I really miss. I'm very fortunate to do a lot of good things and enjoy it, but I still miss my Friday nights if I don't get them. But I have played a couple of Achtung Panzer games from Warlord Games. They kindly sent me a massive box of plastic, as if I didn't have enough. So they sent me, I think, what will effectively be the starter kit for the Germans and the British. So quite a stack. Also, because they did ask me what I wanted, and I said, well, I've got Russians. I had got some Germans. I didn't realise quite how many more Germans I had, but I thought a few more Germans are always useful. But I haven't got any British, so I went for the Brits, which was good. I've got some Americans as well, and I've been building them for this Conflict 47 project that I'm working on, so they can dual function. They also sent me the cards and the boards for the game, which I did a little video on, so if you're interested, it's up here somewhere. And I've played 2 solo games now. The first one was literally my first game. I'd only read the book while I've been on holiday, the rule book while I've been on holiday, and it was my first taster, and I really, really enjoyed it. Even playing solo, I enjoyed it. I got a few things wrong, one quite major, others quite minor, but it's first run through. And I've just played another game solo. I played a slightly larger game, and again, really enjoyed it. I know there's some naysayers out there about Achtung, but I've really enjoyed it so far, and I actually can't wait to take it down the club, because I think it's very much one of those club games. The way the cards play within it, because you have these asset cards and you have these event cards that you can play at various points. Also, the priority you assign to your tanks, who moves first, who moves seconds, etc. It will be a lot more fun with another player, I think. There's some frustrations with it. It's at times it seems almost impossible to hit anything. But I guess they have to balance the fact they don't want you just to put your tanks and play one turn and everything get blown up. So yeah, I kind of like that balance. But as I say, on the whole, I've really enjoyed it, and it does remind me very much of something like Dead Man's Hand. It's very much a cinematic version of a Second World War tank conflict, and I like the way they've played the impact of infantry and other support within the game. You don't actually put them on the table, but they're there as assets. That said, I have sprung ambushes with bazookas and Panzerfaust repeatedly in the 2 games I've played, and not hit a sausage. So anyway, so that's been the games. Purchasing wise, well, you just showed you all the stack of stuff that I got from Warlords. I also picked up a few. Great Escape were doing some sales of. Well, in fact, I just showed you a couple of the tanks that they were doing some sales over the Easter weekend, and I picked up some of those. I think they're called Blitzkrieg miniature resin tanks, which after trying to put together the Warlord plastic. Oh, it's so nice just to have one piece casting. So I bought some of those. You've seen the Firefly and the Cromwell. I've also got a Stug, which is on the painting table, which has been good. I've also I ran out of Dunkelgeld, so ordered to Plastic Soldier Company to get a couple of cans of those come in. I also, while I was there, I picked up. I think this is American Tank Green, so I got one of those as well. What else did I get? A whole load of Tufts, a lot of Tufts, which has been really good. My Tuft supply, I buy a big box from Amazon every so often of Tufts, and they're great, but they're very uniform, and there's repeats of, basically you get the same one in multiplication, but it's good value, and particularly if you're covering large bases like terrain bases and stuff. I think they're good price, but I like to buy other ones when they're on specials and just supplement them in, so that's what I did. I also picked up some more Conflict 47 stuff. That's Wehrmacht Heavy Infantry, Soviet Terror Squad, and Soviet Urus Infantry. I don't know. Mainly because there was a company just starting up selling Warlord stuff, and I basically bought those through them. Also, actually think about it, I also got a Stug through them as well, a bolt action Stug 28mm, so kit, which will be fun to do as well. I had a Kickstarter arrive from Flags of War. This is the next of the Riva Wars set that Ian produced. I plan to do a video about it, I just haven't had the chance yet to do it, but I bought into the Kickstarter. It arrived actually while I was away, so I've opened it. I haven't looked at the figures yet, to be absolutely honest, so I will do that, and if it's interesting to people, I'll do a little video showing what they're about, because I do like that game very much and I would like to have another go at it. Jonathan and I were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, and we ought to have another go at it, so I think I will do. I also had the Dead Man's Hand reboot box rules come along, so I didn't buy any of the starter packs because I've got enough cowboys, I've got enough buildings, but I wanted the new rule book, so I got that. It comes with the tokens and the cards. So again, it's one of those games that at the club every so often we delve back into. And so I thought I'd pick up the latest version of the rules, so I've got them ready for when we do play it again, because I really enjoy it. So there you go. So I think that's it for now. Lots of good stuff been going on, fair amount of painting, I'm a bit obsessed with Armour, can't think why at the moment, and doing tanks, so probably be a few more of those done, especially because I've got to work my through the plastic pile that Warlord sent me. Not that I'm moaning, absolutely not at all. Oh, I did also pick up, just remembered, I picked up a couple of boxes of Russian Napoleonic plastics, Perry figures, and also a box of ACW Perry Zouaves, because there was a company, one of the terrain, I forget which one it is now, but it doesn't matter because they've closed down now. So they were closing down because the guy was retiring and he was selling off all his stock. So I picked up, I realised with my Russian Napoleonic army I need to do some Jaegers at some point. Now they look pretty much the same as every other musketeer unit in the Russian Napoleonic army, but I thought I need to base them up looser, so to speak, so they can represent Jaeger formations, particularly when they break out into skirmish. So I bought up 2 boxes of those because they were like £14 a box, something like that, which for 40 odd figures is an absolute bargain. And also I do plan still to do some ACW this year. So again, Zouaves were like same sort of price, £14–15 for a box. There was also some terrain bits that I picked up as well, just because they'll be used for the future. So basing material, that sort of thing, which was great. So yeah, fair amount purchased. In fact, caused great hilarity to my eldest daughter, who had to pop round and pick up the massive stash of parcels that were sitting on the doorstep while we were away. So thanks, Estelle. Anyway, that's enough waffle for me. I hope your gaming is going well. I hope you're enjoying your hobby. I can't wait to get some real battles on the table again, and fighting against a real opponent other than this cheating old man that I see regularly across the table. So I hope you're getting some games yourselves. Stay safe, stay well, and I will see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.